Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Boom Boom Review Stuff. And I am back for another movie review. And this is actually a movie review that I did not expect to do. As many of you know, I absolutely love horror movies. And in talking about horror movies, so many of you out there recommended to me the Terrifier movies. And so I had seen them come up from time to time and recommended to me on different apps that I watch, like Tubi. But I had never really kind of like taken any interest in them because I didn't know much about them until this year when Terrifier 2 came out. And Terrifier 2 is a sequel to Terrifier 1 or Terrifier the original. And it is getting such great reviews, and people are saying this is like the best horror movie in years that we've ever had. And Art the Clown, who is the main villain of these movies, that he is like a villain, like a killer that we have never seen before, and he's like the modern day, you know, like we see all these repeats, right? We have the Michael Myers, and we have the Jason Voorhees, but we really haven't had any modern day scary type villains in movies in a very long time. And villains, that's not the right word to use, killers. And so we now have Art the Clown, and Art the Clown is at the middle of this movie franchise, I guess is what you would call it. They're very independently made. I have the information pulled up right here, and I actually, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about the background information. I don't, you know, claim to, and so I'm sure there are many people out there that know more than I do about this, but I did go in and read a little bit about it. So I think the way that it works is that there is a short film which is called The Ninth Circle, and then that is also part of the next movie, which is called All Hallows Eve, which is supposedly like the first movie in the Art the Clown series. And it's like, I think like 3 separate stories in one or something like that. And then there's Terrifier, which is basically Terrifier 1. And then that's the one that I'm reviewing today, that I just watched. And then there is Terrifier 2, which just came out this year, okay? So let me go in and talk to you guys about Terrifier. Terrifier, director Damien Leone, a crazy clown stalks and tries to kill these women, or 3 women, in a wretched old apartment building on Halloween night, okay? And I think that was part of why I wanted to watch these, was because they all took place around Halloween, and the trailer for All Hallows Eve looks absolutely terrifying. And I have to tell you, like, watching the trailer for these movies even, kind of like, I was like, ooh, I don't know that I can do this. Now, I don't really have a huge fear of like gory movies. I sometimes have to watch them a little bit like this, I will admit. But when I'm watching them, I just kind of say to myself, it's not real, it's not real. I will say, number one, a trigger warning, that the Terrifier movies, or the one that we watched, was extremely, extremely gory. And it was funny because my husband and I were sitting here, I think this was Saturday night, and I said, do you want to watch this Terrifier movie that everybody keeps on recommending to me? I want to do like a review of it, and I want to watch it. And he was like, I mean, we can if you want to watch it. And I said, well, do you want to watch the trailer? And he said, we don't have to watch the trailer. And so we started it, and we got like through the credits, and I was sitting here over on the couch, and he was in this chair, and he looked over at me and he said, you were going to try to watch this movie by yourself? I said, yeah. And he goes, how far did you think that you were going to get? And I go, I don't know, maybe through the credits, I don't know. So we started watching the movie, and the movie at the beginning, it's kind of like a flashback of what happens at the end of the movie. And this is a spoiler movie, so, or I'm going to tell you spoilers in this movie, or this review. So the beginning starts with this like news anchor woman, and she's doing an interview on the victim of Art the Clown, okay? And then a bunch of stuff happens, and this woman gets killed. The woman kills her at the end because she's talking badly about her and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so then it flashes to Halloween night, and it's these 2 girls, and I think it's very, very low budget. And I mean, when you think about it, actually, it probably shows what the budget is on here. $35,000, okay? When you watch this movie, and the fact that it is absolutely maybe one of the most terrifying, I mean, definitely in the top 5, maybe in the top 3 of the most terrifying movies I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, it is so scary, okay? And there were actually, I was talking about this in another video, and a lot of people were like, I didn't think it was that scary. So I'm going to explain to you the parts that were scary to me, or why I thought it was scary. First of all, it's these girls that are running around, and they're, you know, being followed by this guy this whole night. So it's these two girls, and they've been like out at the clubs partying on Halloween night, and one of them's drunk, and the other one's going to drive the car, but she's like, I think we should eat something first. So they go to this like pizza joint, and they're in there, and he walks in with like this bag, like this trash bag of stuff, which we find out later is his bag of like toys, his weapons, right? And so he's sitting there at this like booth across from them. And this is where, for me, the guy that plays him in the first movie is David Howard Thornton, and he is so fantastic. I mean, unbelievable as far as, like, not just an actor in a horror movie, but, like, as far as being able to, like, really bring forth fear, because he does this thing where he's looking at the main character in here. I think her name is Tara, and he's, like, looking at her, and he's, like, just, like, this, like, solid, like, you know, straight face, stoic face, and he's like, and he does like all these like clown moves kind of thing, and I have to tell you, okay, like, let's make this very clear, I am not afraid of clowns. I am not afraid of clowns. I am not afraid of clowns. But I have been afraid to walk downstairs to get something to eat in the middle of the night or a glass of water because of Art the Clown. It's not just that he's a clown. I don't know how to explain it. It's like in everything that he does. So they leave this pizza joint, and then you find out that the two guys that were working the pizza joint, that they end up getting killed. And it's not that they just get killed, it's like they get their heads cut off and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's very, very graphic and very gory, right? And then they're parked right in front of this, like, old apartment building, and so this girl has to go to the bathroom, this Tara girl, the main character, and she calls her sister to see if her sister can come and pick her up, and I'm already like, okay, so these two are going to get killed, and then it's going to be the sister who's being, you know, the victim of the movie. So, because if you watch enough of these movies, you kind of know a little bit, right? But I will say there was a lot of different stuff in this movie that I didn't expect. So anyway, so there's this guy, and he's like not fertilizing, Peter. He's like a bug guy, right? Like that, like is, what's the exterminator, okay? For this building. And so he's like bug bombing this building, right? And so she needs to use the bathroom, and so she goes in. I will tell you, this was probably one of the scariest parts in the whole movie, and I knew it was going to happen as soon as it happened. So, like, she goes into this building, and she's using this bathroom and all this kind of stuff, right? And her friend is, like, sitting in the car, and the car door, or the passenger side door opens, and she, like, turns to look, and I knew it was going to be him, and he's like, it is so scary, you guys. It is so, so, so scary. So, anyway, so then he takes her, and you don't see him take her, right? But he, like, hangs her by her ankles. Okay, this is going to get kind of graphic. And then he makes her friend, there's, like, this homeless woman in there that has, like, this baby doll that she thinks is her doll and all this kind of stuff. And he hangs her by her. There's so many references to, like, past, like, serial killers and also, like, horror movie genres. There's so many references to it. So he, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, is referenced a lot in this. He hangs her by her ankles, and he literally, with a hacksaw, like, this is the part where I was like, okay, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. He, like, cuts her from, like, I can't even say. He cuts her straight down, okay, from the V down. He cuts her straight down, right through her head and everything, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, my husband is like, where did you find out about this movie? So we go on, we're watching all this movie. One of the things that is absolutely genius about this movie is that you're like, so this girl is being like followed all over this like abandoned building, right? And she's terrified, and he's like coming to get her, and he's gonna kill her and all this kind of stuff, right? Okay. So at this one point, she like hits him with something, I can't remember, she like stabs him, and oh, she's been stabbed in the leg, and he's got her, and they're going after each other and all this kind of stuff, right? And he stands back, and you're like sitting there like, just hit him over the head with this steel pole again, or whatever it is, like just take him out of his, just kill him, and and then run for your life, right? And he pulls out of his pocket a gun, and he shoots her like 3 times. And I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a second. That is not part of the rules. That is not part of the rules of horror movie franchises, okay? Like, killers in these movies are not allowed to have guns. And I was like, oh my God, so this just like took away all the rules of horror movies. And it made it so fantastic, because what it did was, you had no idea going forward what was going to happen. And it was so fantastically done. So all this other stuff happens in the movie. There was something else I wanted to reference. Oh, there was this one point where he killed this girl, this woman, and then he like put her skin on. It was like a reference to Ed Gein, and he's like walking all over. He's like very spooky, walking all over. And the older sister at this point, she's like hiding in this like office room, and she's like hiding in this thing, and he's like looking at her through this eye thing, which is also a reference to, and there's all these fantastic references to movies. And which like the director would know, but like you don't really catch. And so there's this whole thing. And anyway, at the very end, you know, like, so of course all these different people come to try to save her and help her, and they end up getting killed too, right? And so the guy that is the exterminator there, he like gets the older sister out, the younger sister, she's dead, and then she ends up getting, like, she's standing there, and like Art the Clown like drives a pickup truck through the building and like takes her down, and then she's like, but she's still alive, okay? And then the police come and they shoot Art the Clown, or no, scratch that. So then they are like gonna shoot Art the Clown, and Art the Clown shoots himself, right? And so the movie's over, you think, right? But it goes to the morgue, and they're bringing in the bodies, and it's all this joke about how do you eat a breakfast sandwich while you're doing this, and he says all this kind of stuff, right? And I already knew at this point, I was like, Art the Clown's not dead, okay? And so you go into it, and this guy, what's the medical examiner, is that what we call him? The coroner? He like opens Art the Clown's thing, and then all these lights start shit, and it's very like, it's kind of satanic, demonic. And then all of a sudden he looks down, and Art the Clown like comes up and like starts like strangling him. And that's how the movie ends, okay? And it's very demonic. And then what you look up on Google, if you have the Google, is Art the Clown human or is he demonic? And you realize that he's demonic, and you find that out in the last few seconds. But what it is that it's like this new horror movie genre that defies all of the past rules that we had before. And that is what's so fantastic about it, is that there doesn't have to be any rules, that you can make up your rules. I love this so much. And it was a little gross. It was a little gory, I will say that. But as far as like, and I feel like it could have like gone other places. It kind of stayed just in this basement of this building. I wish it had gone up to maybe like higher parts of the building, and maybe they didn't because of their budget. I don't know. But for that, I would probably give it out of a 10. I would probably give it, you know, in all honesty, you guys, it was super, super scary. Like super scary. Like 3 nights out, I'm still having kind of like laying in bed like, is Art the Clown here? Like I was laying on my stomach last night, and I was like, if something touches my foot, I know it's Art the Clown. So I would probably give it a solid 9. Like, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.